guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing something a little bit more different, and I kind of wanted to start a series of me just telling you guys stories. It could be either my personal experiences or just anything. I recently watched a video that I found very entertaining and very creepy at the same time, but I started watching like ghost stories. So I do enjoy those stories, and I've had my fair share amount of times of, you know, paranormal activity stuff. That sounds very creepy, but yeah, you know, ghost stories. A lot of people don't believe in stuff like that, which is totally okay, but I just feel like if it hasn't happened to you, I don't think you really have a reason for it to believe in. Does that make any sense? And I remember at first when my mom would tell me, I wouldn't really believe in stuff like that, but once it started happening to me, I was like, yeah, no. What I'm going to name this series is Story Time with Me. If I come up with something better after this video, then I'll go ahead and list it on the title. But if you guys have better ideas than I do, go ahead and leave them down in the comments down below. But I'm just going to talk about life, my personal experiences. But I am going to kick this video off with my paranormal experiences. My recent paranormal experience happened about a month or so I'm kind of creeped out to talk about this, especially since I'm home alone, and for some reason every time I'm home alone something scary always happens. And the worst part is that I know I shouldn't get scared, but I still do. I mean, I can't help it. I'm going to tell you guys 3 stories of things that have happened to me. I have way more than that, but I didn't want to make this video like 100 minutes long. If you guys would like to hear more of my other stories, then go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you guys enjoy it. So I'm going to start off with a story from when I was younger, and then when I was like in between from now and then a story that just recently happened to me, which literally creeped me the most out because I was home alone. So there was this one night, and I don't really remember how old was I, but my cousin was staying over our house because my parents wanted to go out, so she was here taking care of me and my siblings. I do have a smaller brother and a middle sister. I am the oldest, but I wasn't old enough to take care of them by myself. So my cousin and I, we were on the computer, and our computer was, I mean, it still is there, but our computer was by a window. My living room is right behind me, and the computer is literally like right here. Really big windows, and I kind of have to tell you guys how it's structured so you guys can understand the story. But we have windows on our living room, and they're pretty big windows, right? So it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's not an alley, but it's a little hallway outside where nobody can walk through. There is no sidewalk. Nobody can come and knock on our windows. Nobody can jump through the window or anything like that. And if they try to, I'm pretty sure they'll die because it's pretty high up. My cousin and I were sitting down right there in the computer. We had like an old, I don't know what it was. I think it was like a Dell computer or something. I must have been like 13, 12, around there. I was pretty young. So my cousin and I don't know what we were watching on the computer. I don't remember if we were watching scary movies or scary YouTube videos. I just know we were watching something on the computer, probably playing a game on there. Who knows? But we were home alone, and a lot of stuff happened that night that was very insanely creepy that until this day I don't know the answers to. Oh, I'm getting the chills talking about this. So we were on the computer, you know, doing our own thing. I believe we were watching scary stuff, and my parents would always tell us not to stay up too late watching scary stuff or anything like that, because then scary stuff would happen. I never believed my parents. I was always like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. You know, I was a little rebel, and I would still watch scary stuff at night after they told me not to. I remember we were watching something, and then like something popped out of the screen, and then she like fell backwards, and oh my gosh, it was so funny. But I'm pretty sure she'll remember this story if she sees me talking about it. So we're right there on the computer or whatever, and then it was like 12:30, 1 in the morning. We were just sitting there watching our videos, whatever, getting scared, and somebody comes to our door and knocks really fast. It's 12:30 in the morning. Like, who's gonna come and knock on my door? So I right away run to the door, and I look through the little hole that's right there, and I'm like, nobody here. Like, who would come and ding dong ditch on our door? So I was kind of like, alright. It was really creepy, and it was like a little knock. 5-10 minutes later, still watching scary stuff. And not a lot of people would find that scary, but I mean, I was a little girl. It was pretty scary. So then we're just still watching stuff, whatever, and we have blinds that, I don't know how to explain it, but we don't have like the normal blinds that people have. Ours are like, they open like this. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. So these usually always fall no matter what, like if there's a lot of wind coming in or whatever. So we had our windows closed just because I'm a very paranoid girl and I'm always scared. We're sitting there, whatever, and then one of the windows, so one of the blinds wasn't on there, so it was like all covered, just one dent. So then my cousin and I were still watching videos or whatever, so we get scared, and I'm not even kidding, probably 5 seconds later somebody knocks on our window, and take in mind nobody can walk through there. Me and my cousin just look at each other and we're like, what was that? I was so creeped out. I ran away from the computer and I was like, nope, not doing this, I'm going to bed, peace out. So then later in that morning, well, I'll get to that later, but I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed, whatever. So at the time we all used to sleep in the living room, especially if my cousin would come over and stuff. So I'm there, you know, in the living room, still awake, okay, after I said I was gonna go to sleep. And a couple minutes later, you know, like after this scary stuff happened, I called my parents and I'm like, where are you guys? Like, somebody just knocked on our window. And then we have a window right by our door, so they were like, did somebody knock on that window? And we're like, no, like somebody knocked on this window, like where the computer is at. And they were like, no, you guys are just paranoid. And so after that happened, I was like, alright, please just hurry home, like we're really scared. I was so scared. I am a little wuss, you guys. 5 minutes after that, comes and knocks on our door, and I don't look. I was like, I'm not gonna look, this is scary. So then I texted one of my friends who lived in the apartment complex, and I was like, hey, like somebody just came and knocked on my door, whatever. I don't know how that conversation started, but you know, I was kind of like I was kind of freaked out by it. So I was wondering like if maybe there was somebody going around like knocking on doors. So then it turned out that there was this man like in a trench coat and like a face, like just creepy. And the only reason why I know this is because one of our neighbors actually opened the door on this guy, and it was kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like that SpongeBob episode of the slinging slasher guy. I guess when I asked my neighbor like how did he look and stuff, he looked like that. And I mean the creepy shadow, don't remember what that guy wanted, but I thought that was pretty creepy. Like I think he was like, he needed some help. And afterwards, that same day, the next day in the morning, my cousin tells me, you know, I didn't want to scare you last night. And I was like, what? And she's like, but remember when we got scared because somebody knocked on our window? And I was like, yeah. So I don't want to talk about this anymore. And then she was like, well, it was really creepy because I looked and there was like an old lady face right there, like just angry. And I was like, literally I have the chills right now talking about this story. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? And she was like, because I was so scared, like I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, you're just, no, like there's no way. And she's like, Cassie, like I'm not kidding. And until this day, she tells me, she was like, I swear to you, there was an old lady on that window. And I was like, nobody can go through there, like there's no possible way. Ever since that day, like that story I remember clearly, but not too much of what we were doing in between the gaps. So that's story number 1. I hope you guys are pretty excited for the next couple of stories. They're gonna be a little bit shorter because not so much happened in that one day. So my second story that I have to tell you guys is this one time I was in the kitchen and I was serving myself some food. My parents were at home and so were my siblings. And my brother was in the room, my sister was in the living room with me, my mom and my dad, or I believe my dad was at work, one of those two. So I walk into the kitchen. I have a habit of just, you know, clearing up the microwave, the time. And you know, I walk around back, sit down, and I have like a little bar where you can see the kitchen. So I'm like sitting here and I can see the kitchen, the microwave, the stove, the refrigerator. I can see everything going on, and I just sit there and eat. And I think I was like distracted mentally. I wasn't really paying attention or anything like that. My brother walks into the kitchen, he leaves, and then I'm like, alright, they're right there eating, you know. And then it was really weird. Like till this day I'm like, I'm eating, having my food, my mom is behind me eating, and I don't know how and why I didn't look up, but you just hear the microwave buttons being pressed, and then they click start. And I'm like, I don't know, it didn't really occur to me to look when it was happening. I was just like looking down eating, and I look up and I'm like, is that my little brother? And I'm like, Brian, you know, like I start yelling for him, and he comes from the room, and I'm like, did you turn on the microwave? And he's like, no. And I'm like, stop playing around, seriously, did you turn on the microwave? Because he was a little punk, he still is. And he was like, no, like I haven't even came over here, like I just came to get I think he came to get a drink from the fridge, and then he went to go back and lie down. And I was like, my sister's back here, nobody's in the kitchen. Alright, seriously, like I told my brother, like, don't play around, I'm not gonna get mad, did you turn on the microwave? So before I went to go tell him, obviously I walked into the kitchen, I pressed stop, and there's like 3 minutes on the microwave with nothing inside, and I'm just like, so then my mom looks at me and she was like, you're messing with us, huh? Like, you turned it on. And I'm like, I was sitting right behind you, how would I turn it on? And she was like, no, you were in there, you turned it on. And I was like, no, I didn't turn it on, I'm not trying to mess with anyone. So then I open, you know, I just leave the microwave open, and I'm like freaked out at this point because I was sitting there watching the microwave, and I would just hear the beep 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 beep. It just turns on. So it was really creepy, and I was like, first of all, if I was in there, I would have said it by now. I wouldn't be instigating my brother or trying to get him in trouble. And then my mom just looks at me really weird, and she's like, you know what, I actually have a story. The microwave turned on right in front of me. And I'm like, what? Why didn't you tell me that, like, since the beginning? Like, stuff like that would happen. And yeah, so that was another one of my stories. The microwave turned on right in front of me, and for 3 minutes, so clearly something wanted us to die here. So this is gonna be my last story of the day, and this is something that recently happened about a month ago. I was getting ready to go see my boyfriend. I was home alone that day and everything, so I was walking around, you know, in a shirt, and I was just in my underwear. Too much information, but I mean, at the time, like, damn, like, you guys would understand why I was freaked out. I'm walking around my living room, you know, like, the windows, they're open. It was a pretty hot day, and there was no wind whatsoever that day. I had my mom's window open, everything, and I was walking back and forth from the restroom into my room, and I was like packing a bag because I was going over my boyfriend's house that day, and I'm like trying to rush through because LA traffic is not the business. So I was like, okay, I need to hurry up and I need to leave because I don't want to catch traffic. I'm not ready for that. And I'm looking for some shorts to wear. So since I don't have a lot of storage to put away my clothes, like my closet is filled up. I have some cabinets by the hallway that are filled up as well. And then under my bed, I have something that pulls out, and I have like clothes down there too. So I had some shorts in there that I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna wear that. I have a mirror right across. Like, I don't know if you guys remember how I used to film and my vanity used to be behind me. So right in front of me, it's my door. So I'm facing the vanity, and through the mirror, I can see everything going on around me. And so as soon as, like, my door is pretty wide open, so there is no air, no force, no nothing that can, like, shut that door. Like, there's never been a time that that door has been shut on me, especially not through air. There's no way that air can shut that door, right? So tell me why as soon as I go down, I'm not looking through the mirror, I'm not looking through anything. I'm about, you know, I pulled out my clothes and I'm not looking around my surroundings, and my door was all the way open. And as soon as I'm not aware of my surroundings, that door literally just shuts on me. Like, it shuts right behind me, and my heart was literally about to come out of my chest. And I'm like, what was that? So at first, I thought it was my dad trying to scare me, because usually he does stuff like that and he'll just try and scare me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is there somebody in the house though? Like, first thing I thought was, is my dad trying to scare me? And then I was like, I didn't hear nobody walk through the door. The second thing I thought of was, who is in this house? And I'm like, well, how would they get in? Like, the doors are locked, the window, nobody can come in here. I'm like, I would have felt, if it would have been the wind, I would have felt a breeze come through. There has been no breeze. I'm sweating, and I'm just freaked out at this point, and I'm like, I gotta think fast. So this all happened in my mind like in a matter of seconds, and I have a pepper spray that my boyfriend gave me, so I'm like, you know what, if there's somebody in the house, like I need to be prepared, like whoever's in here, like I'm about to pepper spray your ass. So I'm over here freaking out because I'm in underwear and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if it's an intruder? You know, I'm over here like hanging around in my underwear, like this is freaky. So I have no time to look for shorts or anything, and so then I'm just like, you know, like if there's somebody in here, like this is it. So I open my door really fast and I come out with my pepper spray and I look through all the doors and, you know, the closets, the rooms, and I'm like, there's nobody in here. Like, I called my mom right away, like freaked out. I was like shaking because I was like freaked out, and she was like, don't worry about it, like maybe it's just the wind, like trying to make me feel better. And I'm like, Mom, yeah, I would have felt the breeze, like the door never shuts no matter how much air there is going on outside. So then I'm like, huh, like how would this work? Like maybe it was the wind and maybe I'm overthinking things. So I grabbed my doorknob and I'm like, you know, like a little breeze, and I'm like, no, like this thing sounded like a lot of energy could have taken that door to, you know, shut. Like right now I have the AC on, my door has not moved one bit. So I'm over here testing out my door, you know, so I can get it out of my head, and I'm like, no, like this literally requires someone to grab the door and shut it hard, like not just like a little bing, like no, hard, like I'm talking about like scary movie status shut. And then the next day when I come home, you know, I tell my mom more about it, and I was like, Mom, like it was really scary. At first I thought it was my dad trying to mess with me, and she was like, you know what, like I didn't want to tell you yesterday because I didn't want to scare you some more. And I was like, what? Like when your grandma used to come and you guys were smaller, like that room door would always just shut on by itself. It would always close on your grandma. And I'm like, so I guess it turns out it had not only happened to me, it has happened to my grandma plenty times. So that was my last story for my paranormal experiences that have happened. It's pretty creepy because they've happened exactly where I still live at. It hasn't only happened to me, it's happened to my parents as well. Actually, my dad wasn't a believer. At first when we moved here, a lot of stuff would happen to my mom to the point where she had to get out of the house so she wouldn't be as scared, and I think she was pregnant with my sister. So then my dad never believed her. He would be like, you know, you're crazy. And I know that's somebody's answer when, you know, they've never had anything happen to them. So until this one time, I guess my dad was home alone, and I think they like slammed the cabinet in the kitchen. Nobody was home, just slammed it, and ever since then he believed her, and he knows and he believes now, and before he didn't. And I'm like, that's why it takes someone to believe it unless it happens to them. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and let me know what you guys think. I just think this is a very, oh my gosh, I just remembered a story that happened in my cousin's house. I have a lot of paranormal stories from when I used to go to my cousin's house. Like, I'm talking about like some creepy stuff, you guys. If you guys liked it, then go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. If you guys would like to hear a little bit more of my paranormal experience or any other stories, go ahead and give me a topic and I'll go ahead and talk about it. I just think it's a little bit fun just to sit here and chit chat with you guys like friends. So if you guys are interested in anything like that, then go ahead and leave me your comments down below. Also tell me your paranormal experiences if you guys have had any. I would like to hear if some of you guys don't believe in anything like that. I would like to hear why. And I think this is pretty much it for this video. Oh, actually, Snapchat. I'll be announcing my Snapchat next week on next week's video. I am going to open one for you guys for the public, so if you guys are still interested in that, let me know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on Friday.